Hi guys, this is Nadia from Imbali Crafts, and today I want to show you how to create these solderless treble clef wire earrings. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button because I upload new stuff on a regular basis. I quite often make kits and PDF tutorials for the videos I put up on here, and I'll pop a link in the description below. I also have all sorts of gemstones, square and half round wire, some beads, and all sorts of other goodies on my website. So take a gander over and see if there's anything you fancy. Last but not least, come and join us in our wire wrappers and metalsmiths group on Facebook. I'll also pop a link below. Right, let's get started. To begin with, we're going to cut an 18 centimeter 7-inch length of 18 gauge 1mm wire, and this is for a 40 centimeter or millimeter rather tall design. I have made a PDF frame like I do for some of my tutorials. You can find this in my shop, so I'll pop a link below if you're interested in getting that. And we're going to be using that to create the treble clef itself. So we're going to start by squeezing the one end of the wire with our round nose pliers. And the reason I'm doing this is so that the wire ending is tapered, and I squeeze the wire as I rotate, and that will give you a nice narrow sort of tip to the wire, and then I gently rotate the wire around it. So just take your time. And if you go a little bit further away from the actual rotation, the tip of the wire, you have a bit more control over where the wire is going to end up. So just move out a bit so that you have space to rotate. And take your time with that and gently adjust the position of the circle. Now, if you are going to make two, obviously this is a pair of earrings, I always recommend to do these at the same time. So I do one stage with one earring, and I do the same stage with the next earring, and just obviously keep comparing them so that they are symmetrical. If you've drawn a template or you got one from my shop, just reference it back against that so that the shape, both of the earrings are symmetrical, as well as referencing them back against each other as well. And that's what it looks like so far. So next we need to create the upper curve, and for that I'm gently using a very fine tipped pair of chain nose pliers, and as always referencing back to make sure that I get the curve right, and just readjust as I go. And it would actually be better to use round nose pliers, as you will get some flat sections with that kind of pliers. So round nose would actually be better just to get the curvature right. At the moment I'm doing the section at the bottom, and then you can later on move up and adjust the actual curvature to fit what you have here. So nearly there. So now I'm happy with the way it looks. So this actually references nicely against the template, and from now on we're going to be able to create the little loop at the top. So that's all right. So I place it on there, and you can actually obviously do this freehand as well. So you place it on there, and you then rotate the wire around the tip of your template. The loop obviously is the size of the loop depends on how you would like it to look. If you obviously want a bigger loop, you create it bigger, go further down the round nose pliers. If you want a small little loop like I do here, you go right at the tip, and you kind of pull it tightly behind it. So as I said, I go behind the wire here. You can go in front as well, doesn't really matter, but that's what it looks like so far. So now I have shaped the wire already downwards, and I'm referencing it back against the drawing, and it's approximate, so I'm okay with that. That'll work fine. And the next step is to set the stone. So for that, obviously this requires just a bit of patience, and I go really slowly with that so that I have more control over the wire. So I just do a very gentle curvature at the bottom, and I grab the wire as far out as I can so that I have more control over the circle it creates. And I ever so gently form a small circle, and then once I'm satisfied, I adjust it with a pair of pliers until it's nice and round. The rounder it is, the better, and it must just fit the stone so that it doesn't fall through. So I'm happy with that. So I'm testing the fit of the stone, and that looks great. So the stone just fits in it without falling through, but it's also not small enough so it will raise the stone up. So that is perfect. And I am rotating the wire, and as I rotate now, I ever so gently lift the wire up. So I spiral the wire up so that with each rotation the wire encases and lays itself over the stone. So you can see here I'm holding and I'm rotating, and at the same time I'm also using my pliers, which is really helpful if you want to get a really nice rounded sort of setting. So I keep rotating. The second loop should also already go over the stone, and then I always do a third one, sometimes a fourth, but generally I aim for 3 sort of rotations. The first one obviously is the base where the stone sits in, and then 2 more to sit over the stone, and that's what it looks like so far. Right, so I'm satisfied with that, and I'm now going to trim off the top wire. Remember to do these stages all at the same time, so do the left earring and then the right earring. Right, so I'm trimming off the wire of the other earring, and remember obviously these are treble clefs, so they are not going to be a mirror image like earrings normally are. Right, so that's what we've got now. So the next step is to hammer out the areas that we would like to have a little bit more flare. So I'm going to place it on my steel block, and I've got a domed chasing hammer here, which is a hammer I prefer because it's got a slight dome, as you can see. So you get the flat ones as well, but the flat ones tend to create marks on the wire easier because of the sort of flat surface, so it's great to have a dome. And I'm going to hammer the areas that I want to flatten out. So now obviously you can open this up or you can leave it closed, so it doesn't really matter. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to hammer the sides, and then when I hammer, I tend to move the hammer into the direction of the hammer blows, and that will flare the wire out into that direction, like so. And you just need to be, you can be really gentle with that. It doesn't require much force, and the less force you use as well, the less dense there will be in the wire. You can bend this out the way. So now obviously if you want to do this one first, you can bend this out the way and then later on bring it back. And it's just easier to do the section first, because once that side is hammered, it will be harder to bend it back into shape. So I'm shifting this. And you see I'm flaring this out, and then once I'm satisfied with that, I'm just going to bend this back, and I'm going to hammer this side as well, and that's how you do the hammering. And that's what it looks like. So the last step is to add in a shepherd's hook. So I'm going to grab this, and the way to open these is always sideways so that you don't bend the wire out of shape. And then all I'm going to do is hook these on, simple as, and close them, and that's what it looks like. So this is done with a topaz. I've done a sterling silver one with peridot. These are really nice. And then I've done one with garnet as well. So there's different types, different ways. You can see in these earrings here, I didn't put the loop in at the beginning, so you can do this without if you prefer the look of that, or you can put the loop in like I've done here, just so that you have a little bit more of an extra security for the hook at the top. And that's that. So that's the how do you make these treble clef earrings. I hope that's how you say it. And that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and come and join us in our Facebook group if you want to be part of our community. And as I said earlier, if you have any requirements for wire, gemstones, Rivoli, copper beads, and now, as I said, also do kits and PDF tutorials, pop over to my shop. I will pop a link below. And that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching.